I have a statement on that. That statement that you just made takes away Scott's constitutional right to rebuttal. You're not the judge and jury on his statement. You weren't the judge and jury on Gloria's statement. They should both be in there or both be eliminated. That's a constitutional right.
We're only discussing Mr. Samuel's statement.
As members to, as a copy of a letter to the Board of Directors, there should be no objection to this being in the minutes because it is part of the official records of the association. Any letter or communication between board members and each other are part of the official records. And therefore, by taking it out, I think it would be a willful act to prevent any rebuttal of anything that disagrees with the leadership.
Okay, the statement is not a rebuttal of the president. You specifically asked to be permitted to rebut the president's message. You failed to do so. You use this as a subterfuge to make an attack against the directors in general and against Mr. Miro, who was not at all part of the president's message other than she nominated him to be a member of the board.
Anything that I wrote about Mr. Miro was current and had to do with the truth, and I can substantiate anything I did. You want to take the truth out of the minutes? Go ahead and do it. You got the majority here, go and do it. We can't help, we can't stop you. Right. Go ahead, do it.
Motion was made.
Anybody who votes to remove it from the minute is prostituting their fiduciary duties. And if you guys want to...
Thank you again, Mr. Samuels. I don't know what we would do without you to remind us about how terribly crass we are, and stupid, and ignorant, and lacking in fiduciary responsibility. Sure.
Is pain of going.
Can I possibly see what you're talking about? That you...
This is...
Before we decide.
They were put in the minutes to stay in the minutes.
Since I'm the subject,
Can
can I make a statement?
No, the board is having a discussion.
I understand. That's
No, the
okay.
board
I'll
is
make a
having a
statement.
discussion.
Jerry, you can't do this. You can't do this. Don't go away, folks. Folks, don't leave us yet. Don't leave us yet.
Do whatever you want, Danny.
No, don't leave us yet.
I don't care.
They're stupid. These two are stupid.
Oh, they're just
I know, but don't leave yet. We
horrible.
still have some other business to discuss that you want to mention.
Ruining the village,
Ruining it.
destroying.
All right, was there anything else? Are we,
Ridiculous.
what's it? We're ready to vote on the
Useless.
motion? Let's vote on the motion.
I'm sorry.
Let's vote on the motion.
Repeat the motion.
Useless.
Will you vote to strike
Motion
the
was to throw that,
version from the, or
Take out Mr. Samuel's.
you seconded the motion, correct?
You second.
I seconded it, okay. You vote for it. Let's have a vote, Terry. We just know he's voting. He's confused.
Well, we don't really know, we're not familiar with the exact words, we're just trying to take out of the minutes. What can we table? Can we read it more thoroughly? Or?
Francis, you
Beg your pardon.
move. We have a motion on it. You second?
Yeah, you wanna wait
And
till,
second.
you wanna wait till we read it?
This is just sliding it under the carpet.
A motion to table will take precedence over my
Table.
motion.
All right, we'll table it.
Table it until
read it. How's that? That's good.
Table?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion to table.
Motion to table.
Yeah, right.
Second.
Okay.
Do we have anyone opposing the tabling of the motion?
Oh, tabling of it?
Tabling.
Opposing it.
No, not opposed.
No.
I approve tabling, yeah.
Okay?
What was the date on that meeting?
November 18th.
No.
November 18th.
The president's message is attached to the September 7th minutes, so you'll want to let the directors have a copy of that, so that they can read Gloria's message and then Scott's rebuttal, and have it all in the context.
next item on the agenda would be the president's report.
Okay, let me have that microphone, please. Thank you.
Give me a flavor, Dan. Don't hold it too close, okay? When it comes out too deep.
If it comes out too deep, let me know, okay? Beautiful? All right. I've been in International Village for a long time. I love the village. In fact, when I first visited International Village some 15, 16 years ago, I knew that I wanted to live here. And it's a beautiful place. It's like walking into Epcot. It's like walking into Disney World. And I like it here. I'm sure all of you feel the same way. It's like an oasis. I ran for the board. Surprised I got elected, actually. Even more surprised they made me the president. Not the most popular guy in the community, but, you know, I'm working on it. But the point being is that we like it here, and we want to try to make it a better place to live. And we're not only going to be able to do that if we get cooperation. And cooperation is one of the hardest things we're going to be able to get on this board, it seems like. But just on this, a little bit on the state of the economy. You know the economy's in bad shape, right? All right, so basically I know my financial situation last year probably made about half of what I made the year before, and this year I'll make even less. So I'm tightening my belt, and so at International Village, we're probably going to have to tighten our belts a little bit, basically to meet the budget, to get things done, to get the important things done. And there are probably some frivolous things that we'd like to do that we may not be able to do, but we're just going to have to, work it out. We're going to have to work out the budget. I feel we've got really competent people here. Paul, and I've got Terry on the construction committee, who really know what they're doing. And so I feel we're going to get a lot of mileage out of that. And I feel they're going to save us a lot of money. We've got a good sales and lease committee. We have to encourage people to move into the village so that we can get more maintenance, collect more maintenance. We have to try to work to cut down the foreclosures. I got Michael working on the amendments committee. Basically, we're forming a good group to work with. But now, my next order of business is I want to talk a little bit about ethics. Okay, just a little bit about ethics. Let me get out of here, Michael. I'll just walk around a little bit. Can somebody out there define ethics for me? Who'd like to define ethics? Anybody?
Doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. There's one definition. Anybody else have a definition of ethics? Doing the right thing. Even when nobody's looking, right?
Right.
Or do the right thing.
Especially when no one's
All right,
looking.
has anybody ever heard of the golden rule?
Yeah.
The golden rule? Some people feel this: do unto others before they do it to you. That's not the golden rule. It's, no person, please. It's treating others the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. They say that's the embodiment of ethics. Now, is it possible? Anybody here feel it's possible to be too ethical? Does anybody feel it's possible to be too ethical? Can you imagine being accused of being too ethical? I'm not really going to hang out with you where you're too ethical. It's not possible to be too ethical. Now, there's ethics and then there's law. Okay? Now, the law states what they know. Does anybody know what the purpose of the law is? What is the purpose of the law? Guidance is one thing, but that's not the purpose. Why do they pass laws?
To codify things.
To keep order, to protect people. Laws are passed to protect people. Laws are supposed to be tempered with justice, and they're supposed to be tempered with a little mercy, with a little compassion. Now, laws can be used, laws can be misused. Some people can use the law to hurt other people, and that's been done. All right? Other people use the law to help people. That's better. Now, what's happening here is that the law is being misused in many instances, and the law is being used to hurt people. For instance, we were in a situation here in December where these reserves were supposed to be fully waived. Well, it didn't get done. It happens. You know something? I'm not perfect. Is anybody in this room perfect? Because I'd like to meet you. Has anybody here never made a mistake? Huh? I made a few mistakes. Arthur, what about you?
Every day.
Kim, you make any mistakes?
Once in a rare
Once
while.
in a great while, Kim makes a mistake. We all make a mistake once in a while. And you know something? There's always somebody there to point it out to us, isn't there? You know, hey, you just made a mistake. That's what we like to hear, isn't it? Instead of giving us a little encouragement, they point out our mistakes. But with these fully funded reserves, all right, maybe somebody overlooked something, maybe they didn't. I'm not saying they did, I'm not saying they didn't. But the point is that we have attorneys that advise us. And these attorneys tell us what they think we should do for the good of the community. Now, the attorneys advised us that the meeting was adjourned, wait until February, and we'll have our fully funded reserves wait. That's what was supposed to happen. Now, it seems to me that somebody felt it necessary to use the law to hammer us. You know?
Hold it, Jerry. You can't move that camera.
The camera is not supposed
The
to
man's
be
got to be removed himself. The camera cannot be moved. Once you
Can't
set
have
it
that.
up, it can't be moved.
That's the law. You can fix the camera.
But there's the law again, see? See how the law?
You can't
These
do
people
that.
are not doing it.
All right, there you go. There you go. See how the law is being used to hammer us?
You're not here.
It's been used to hammer us the whole entire year of 2008.
Now, the law is keeping me still here, so I can't move. If I can't move, I really can't talk.
Jerry, you're forbidden from panning the camera.
The camera is not being moved. It's right on its feet. It's not being moved. It's not being moved.
What
So they
statute?
get away from it.
What statute says you can't pan the camera?
But he was moving it. You shouldn't be moving.
It doesn't say that in
Is
statute.
there a statute that says you can't pan the camera?
That's
Huh?
right.
Is there a statute that says you
That's
can't?
right.
Where, what is it? Show it to me. Show me the
You
statute.
can trust me. I'll show you.
Don't fall to that.
Are you willing to put some money that Scott is right? And
No, I'm not into degenerate
No,
people.
Betty. That's
I'm willing to
unethical.
put any
That's
money you
unethical.
want.
No, betting on
That
the
the law
board.
says that. No, but he's doing it.
Is betting allowed? Gambling allowed?
No, gambling's now allowed in the state of Florida.
You're not supposed to pan the camera.
You either follow the law or you
You're
don't.
supposed to be.
This is pathetic.
Disruption something.
Anyway, you can see, there's an example of what I'm talking about in misusing the law. All right, the law is being misused for somebody's own agenda.
He's doing it again. Every time he does it, I'm going to interrupt the meeting. He's violating his right to be here. He has to leave it in one position. He's not, you want to stand center stage. Because they do, if you want to just break the law all the time, don't take minutes, shove things under the carpet, that's fine.
Now, is there any law that can ask unruly people to leave? Is there any law that we can ask unruly people to leave the room?
Yes, the board can do that.
Permanently?
Can we?
The board can do, yes.
Well, do we need to make a motion on that, Howard?
No, we can't
You
do
do
that.
what?
You can,
Make a motion to ask anybody that's unruly and disruptive to leave the meeting?
anyone of the audience. He's a board member.
Oh, he can be as disruptive as he wants to?
No, I never said that.
Okay.
You can ask Mr. Samuels to stop the disruptions.
Anyway, here's my point. I'll stand still, okay? I think that Mr. Samuels and Mr. Wolf here owes the village an apology for going to the state, and because of them going to the state, they're going to cost a lot of the owners here in the village a couple months in reserves that they probably can't afford to pay. They didn't have to go to the state. They could have taken the advice of our attorneys, and I'm sure everything would have worked out just fine.
What did he say?
But he has to do it the way the law says it, and he's using the law to hurt people.
Wait
That's all I have to
Waste
say.
of money.
I'd like to rebut that because that's not true.
Now, go ahead,
You
Rick,
get-
wait, wait, wait.
It's not true. You know what to be true?
Go ahead.
You think I went to the state and that is why we have to pay the reserves?
You went to the state because you wanted to prove you were right and everybody else was wrong.
You
You
don't-
didn't care what the consequences
You are demonstrating your ignorance of the law.
Thank you.
The law says, and the manager will attest to this, that the minute we did not have a
My statement
quorum,
is over.
and the minute we did not have a quorum, and the minute we didn't reach the amount of votes necessary, we automatically became fully funded. We will remain fully funded until another time. Fully funded means that $73,000 for this month has to be collected, and if we do it on the 24th, there'll be another $25,000 or more. Something, it comes to $131,000 that we are obligated to.
They wouldn't have
See,
done
and
it.
we have to pay it, and you have to assess the people
There
for
are
it. Us
attorneys-
going there didn't do
Did
it.
our attorneys
You want to see the law?
Did our attorneys recommend that we not go to the state? Didn't our attorneys recommend that we not go to the state?
No, we didn't.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they
What
did.
does that got
Yes,
to do
they
with
did.
it? Well, wait a second, you're telling me that if we knew this to be happening, we went there to affirm that our opinions were correct. That's correct.
Opinions,
Now,
yeah,
what you
is that the
wanted to
law?
do-
Wait a second, what they want to do is just shove these laws under the carpet. Is that what you were trying to do, Mr. Coco?
Mary, please.
Is that what you want to do, Mr. Coco?
I want to shove
The
you.
law is automatic. I don't control it.
Michael, we should respond to that. Have the floor, please. The evening of the election, our attorney who walked us through the election process advised us that this is what we needed to do.
What?
That, well, that we had to adjourn the meeting and it would give us 90 days to comply with a waiver.
That's correct.
His advice.
There's no dispute on that. The dispute is on the fact that we are now fully funded reserve until we get the votes in
Whose side
by,
are you on? Whose side are you on?
Scott,
I'm on the side of right. All right.
I can't sit there anymore. I can't.
Okay, can I ask Danny a question?
let's have a vote on that.
I want to read from the state law. If the meeting of the unit owners has been called to determine whether to waive or reduce the funding of reserves, and no such result is achieved or a quorum is not attained, the reserves as included in the budget shall go into effect. Now ask your property manager what that means.
Okay, let me put my 2 cents here. Basically, Scott is correct in that if the association failed to get the required votes from their unit owners to waive their reserves,